YouTube reset its system. YouTube updated a little bit, so let's see what YouTube looks like on my phone real quick because I updated it. YouTube updated the PC a little bit, so I need to see if they updated my phone too. Hello. Just relax before I go to.
Look at the DeLorean. Don't see many of these around.
Yeah.
What? I don't know if they found me, but they found me. Run! To celebrate Back to the Future Day, seemingly every DeLorean owner in the UK descended on my street. They just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming until utter gridlock. And even mine's Hilux. And if you like Back to the Future, stay tuned to the channel because the next video is very much on this theme.
Ooh. Pretty good today. Pretty good. I'm making dinner right now. I thought I'd do another video. Do a video. Since I'm going to be having dinner soon, I thought I'd do a quick video. I know we lost some subscribers, but you know what, though? I really don't care. We lost a couple subscribers. Okay, we lost a lot of subscribers, but you know what, though? I'm doing pretty good right now. It's fun that we lost a lot of subscribers, but I'm not going backwards. I'm staying up. Thanks. Yeah, we're going to have dinner, which is this pizza from Detroit that I got from the store. And it is dark and rainy looking outside, too. So we're going to, yeah. Yeah, ideas for a video. I'd like to hear your ideas because I will be taking ideas. I got work tomorrow, so that's about it. So yeah, I'm gonna stay on here. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you see my underpants. I don't care. As long as I'm not totally naked, I really don't give a care. I have rules and restrictions on this channel. The rules and restrictions are, as long as I have a top shirt on, I count as dressed. Some cartoons, that's all it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna be one of those. Yeah, that'd be fun to go to one of those. But yeah, like I said, I need a camera crew. If I go to one of those, I need a camera crew. And I do have a cameraman, but the cameraman's a cop, so yeah, you can't always trust him. But you do want to do that one thing, right? That one thing would be nice to do, but you know, who knows? Eventually, maybe go to one, or someone send me videos. Who knows?
Let me just get this straight. Like evolutionary terms, Ferrari started with like an amoeba, and then they evolved into plants, and then there's some sort of creature that crawled out of the slime. That's where James brought in. That's exactly that. And then they leapt forward, really, and what we ended up with is Stephen Fry with Keira Knightley's face. So what massively just where James was. Yeah, you stepped in. Yeah, you quite fit.
Watch that real quick.
I just lost my dad and my aunt. That's just really like there's this wall between her and me. Oh my God! You need to leave right now! Lock the door like a person! I think my mom's gonna
They both do some heavy stuff.
really glad they kidnapped my daughter from her father's funeral to get her high. This'll be fun.
Colin Delvin's regretting PG-13.
Okay, movies of choice. So yeah.
Where you going? I'm opening up the bottom lower brand. I know it's you, Charlie. Take the next lap.
That's a big hurt. Yeah, look at that.
It's a camera because she's entirely surrounded by you. She hugged me, she's an actress, she was pretending she was. But in my mind, she wasn't. In her mind, she was remembering the advice. Now, Cameron, hug the big monster and pretend it's not scary. I'm now on her to-do list. You're on a restraining order list, mate. The only list you're on. Anyway, the news. Now, Peter Mandelson, you may remember, he introduced the scrappage scheme. The idea being that if you bought a new car, you could get £2,000 for your old one, irrespective of its actual value. Now, so many people took him up on his offer, they couldn't crush the cars fast enough. Seriously, they were building up on airfields. We've got a picture of the scale of the problem. How like did you turn up now? If you zoom in on the cars here that we're talking about, look at this. It's a Mercedes E-Class. It's a Mercedes E-Class. That's a nice Freelander. I know, it's just... These are just cars. But it's just... I know there's another picture here of some 4x4s. I'm sorry, but look at those Cherokees and Shoguns. I know a Land Rover as well. The thing is, why didn't they just ring the Taliban and say, look, if you stop shooting at us, we'll give you a 1997 Shogun we've got parked.
We ought to make it clear, actually, that under this scrapping scheme, the cars that were taken off the road under the scheme on the public checks have to be scrapped. They can't be sold. They have to be.
All these cars have to be scrapped. If you think about it, all the energy that went into making these cars in the first place, now all the energy that's going to go into crushing, and then all the energy that goes into making new cars for people who wouldn't otherwise have bought new cars if it wasn't for this scheme.
It's all true. The BBC got some stick this week for allegedly over-promoting Peter Mandelson's new book, so let's redress that balance. Don't buy it.
Nice. Let's balance that tape as he wants Now, there's a new Nissan Micra out, and that is the end of the news. Now, a while back, our producers said to us that we ought to make a film explaining why classic British sports cars like these were so awful and terrible and horrible in every way that people went out and bought hot hatchbacks instead.
Yeah, but we didn't agree. We said, no, British sports cars weren't horrible. And then there was a bit of a row.
Huge row. Massive. And what we then said to the producers was, now look, Top Gear is shown all over the world. And even if British cars were terrible,
Which they're not.
but even if British sports cars were terrible, we're not going to rush around the country saying, oh, everything's all horrible here, are we?
No, exactly. See, because Crocodile Dundee never went into the outback and said, oh, it's terrible, it's too hot, it's full of spiders.
No, Jack Barrett doesn't run around America saying, don't come here, it's all full of terrorists, does he? The producers, though, were most insistent. So they gave each of us £5,000 and told us to buy a classic British sports car with it. And then we were told to report with our cars to the Lotus factory in Norfolk, where, as usual, we would be given some challenges. I was the first to arrive in a car from my era, the superb Jensen Healey. This is a beauty. Built by Jensen, designed by the father and son team that brought us the Healey 3 litre, styled by the same man who did the Aston Martin Lagonda, and powered by a twin-cam Lotus engine. You really can think of this, Dan, as being like one of those old 70s supergroups.
It's so good.
Well, yeah. Oh, here we go. Speak of the devil. James, that is magnificent. A TVR S from your period.
It is. It's EDRS2 actually. S2, yeah, 170 horsepower. Cologne Ford V6 from enough. Tonight, we throw a chair over a hedge. A quite interesting man drives our reasonably priced car. And for the first time ever, the Bugatti Veyron races the McLaren F1. Now, every year, 50,000 17-year-olds pass their driving test and have to buy a car. Okay, because they're 17, the car they want is sporty and cool and preferably turbocharged. Trouble is, their parents want them to have something that is slow, cheap, and safe. And the insurance companies would rather they didn't have anything at all. So, to sort all this out, the producers gave us each a typical budget of £2,500. Told us to pretend we were 17-year-olds and then go out there and buy cars that would please us as 17-year-olds, our parents, and the man from the pro. This is genuine consumer advice. Yeah, well, mostly, sort of, at first. There are any number of cars on offer these days for that kind of budget.
Can you make some money on YouTube? One of these days, I'll make a few bucks. After I eat, I might do some B-stars.
Safe in a crash, parents will love it for this reason. And kids will love it because, well, it's cool.
You do B-stars? You want to do B-stars a little bit?
17 student going I said about sorting the bills insurance. How much? 7,000 what? Pounds?
Something very sensible here. Look at this. I found the Suzuki Viana, which is small, sturdy, safe. Yeah. 1,300 quid. Yeah. Gives me 1,200 quid. Well, for insurance, that won't be enough. £1,200, I guarantee it won't be enough. And he was right. How do you feel now? Go on. 3,377. Azure will do it for 3,400. HSBC, 4,600. One quote direct. Okay? £8,007.
I don't think they want the business.
We went through the options for hours.
Student, full-time, studying religion.
James May. No, Adam Smith, sorry. £2,500 is 15 times more than the car is worth. No, but what you're saying is that I'm going to write it off completely 15 times a year.
One thing I've learned is that the premiums for 17-year-old girls are half what they are for 17-year-old boys.
Seriously?
Half the money.
Well, there's a top gear top tip right there. If you're a 17-year-old boy, you need car insurance, slice your penis off. I wouldn't have. I did. Yeah, I nearly did, I should say. No, that explains a great thing. The phoning went on until eventually we had a list of cars that could be bought and insured for less than £2,500. And it is like looking through the menu at a Scottish restaurant. Not much in it and nothing you want. I mean, look at that. Rover Metro, Citroen AX. Can you imagine a 17-year-old with
Yeah.
the kid is 4 years.
Pretty much. I want to have sex. This. Since this was really nice. At least we got one video. Yeah, let's get one video. That's good enough. Let's get one video. Come on. I'm gonna watch Artie Archives instead.
Mr. Kramer, he's here. Did you think our story was over?
They are in theaters now.
Western Michigan is a fast-growing region full of unique experiences and traditions, and Culligan has a long history of providing custom solutions.
And welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that isn't afraid to give its viewers a total snow job. Quite literally. Anyway, today marks our third proper round of weather warning type stuff. But
Oh, I got 73%. Okay, I don't need no juice right now.
Is that it's going to be all winter weather this time around. So with that, the impetus behind this episode was reality.
Pizza should be done soon, so that's good.
It's not been a good one in archive land. So just a day or two after New Year's, I was starting to fish around for the would-be next archive topic, and the snow just started dumping outside, and it led me down this rabbit hole. But,
what do you say when 1 in 3 Jewish Americans were victims of...
About a foot and a half of snow on the ground. But, that's not inherently horrible, but it over the span of a...
Yeah, people are funny online.
Torture-esque.
What is that?
Basically, this meant that...
Oh, these guys are stupid. Some people ask me some questions are dumb.
If you got out onto the road at all, you were probably going to get stuck or slide into a tree or something. And if you were like me and stayed home throughout the whole thing, Mother Nature decided to play a few pranks on you. So the recurring one being that the snow would stop, the sky would kind of start to lighten outside, and you check the radar on the internet, on the local TV station, and okay, doesn't look too bad. Guess I better get my coat and stuff on and start digging out. Then you step outside and Mother Nature turns the snow back on, harder than before. And I guess you could say the final insult to this whole thing was we managed to somehow just miss blizzard status. So here in the States, the legal threshold, if you will, for a blizzard is that the wind has to be consistently blowing at least 35 miles an hour. And there has to be snow of some sort involved as well. Well, the winds were consistently blowing at 25 to 30 miles an hour the whole time. So anyway, being the Oddity Archive guy, being kind of stuck inside for a lot of this, I went and dutifully recorded a lot of local news and stuff, kind of hoping for the EAS to go off. And it never did happen, but I did get some fairly alternately informative and amusing local news footage. And that makes up our first montage today.
Right now, Interstate 90 is closed from Chamberlain to Sioux Falls. Interstate 29 is closed from Sioux Falls to Brookings. They're expected to remain closed throughout the day. The roads are so dangerous in Minnehaha County this midday that the county has pulled plows from the roads. Even in city limits, drivers are struggling to get around. Many cars are getting stuck in their driveways. Others are getting stuck on city streets. And it's not just side streets. Our news crews have spotted multiple cars stuck on some of the city's busiest roadways.
Those areas of darker blue that we have, and they're filling in again near Larchwood to the northwest to include Sioux Falls, much of southwestern Minnesota. Also looking at that to fill in.
When we were out there, the snow was coming down so heavy that windshield wipers couldn't keep up. And I know some of the plow drivers here in town have the same problem.
Sure.
This is near the handyman, and we were going downhill. A police officer was out there directing traffic, and we rolled on the road.
Hey guys, just making dinner. Dinner's almost done. So yeah, it's 5:12 p.m. here. 5:10 p.m. and yeah, my clock's a minute. My clock is scrolled to 5:11. Sorry. So we're gonna have some pizza today for dinner. Some Detroit deep dish pizza, and that's about it. And my cat, like to come up. Well, my cat said to come up here real quick. Say hi.
There is, and this is a common scene across Kettleland, or at least in southeastern South Dakota, Sioux Falls. Cars have been working their way to get out, and this one has been a slow go. I've been following this one since our last weather hit. He looks like he's free. He's leaving a shovel behind him, too. You see that, Dan?
Yeah, can't blame them. And this is what it looks like from a DOT cam north of Sioux Falls and I-29. There's an interstate there, we assure you, which, as we mentioned earlier, is closed. Officials say crews could continue moving and picking up snow for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
I'm going to debate the 12 inches from the National Weather Service. I think we're probably closer to 20. With the amount of snow that we have, it's piling up. We're running out of places to put it for now. And as such, the piles are going to get higher. They're going to be harder to see around. Lanes are going to get narrowed. We're going to go from 4 lanes to 2 lanes to 1 lane.
After a lot of cleanup work, the Sioux Falls Regional Airport is back open today. The airport posted these pictures on Facebook, saying crews worked around the clock to reopen. The first flight arrived about now.
So hey guys,
You still need to check with your airline flight schedules. As people wait for business,
I got some A&W, clear A&W right here, and a RC put up somewhere. So if I need it later, I can have it.
It's important you get your sidewalk shoveled out for pedestrian safety, but additionally, we want services to continue. Your mailman needs to get to where they need to get to. The officers or other first responders need to get there. Kids, I'm assuming school will be open tomorrow. A lot of kids need those sidewalks cleared to get to school.
And still making out of Sioux Falls. Yeah, probably the mail might be a little delayed in that neighborhood. It's pretty thick out there. The crews are working hard. We will be back. Many more snow on the way. We'll have details. And it's snowing again. Lovely. Anyway, when I do these weather warnings type episodes, I think the expectation is, and I totally get it, that it becomes just a big ball, if you will, of civil defense broadcasting. So emergency alert system, if it's a little older, emergency broadcast system, or if it's old enough, Conelrad. But the thing is, with regards to winter weather, the civil defense stuff didn't really start happening for all intents and purposes until maybe 10 years ago, if that. So if you've come here looking for the dual tone signals and the duck calls and the scary stuff, you're not going to get it here. Sorry. But if you're willing to go along for the ride, I do think I have some interesting stuff here. Now, having said that, the remainder of today's episode is only going to revolve around 2 particular storms, and pretty famous ones at that. But yeah, I just have so much footage that it's just better to consolidate this one. So let's kick things off with, well, I've got 2 storms, obviously, one from 1967 and one from 1977. So yeah, truly no civil defense stuff here. But let's start with 67 and the Great Chicago Blizzard of the last week of January of 1967. And we're going to check in with WTAS FM. And actually, that's selling it a bit short. This is the air check is from WTAS, but this is actually a pooled effort with WCGO AM. Now, WTAS was normally a music station, specifically one of those beautiful music, MOR, middle of the road type stations. But during the storm, they had to go over to being a serious news outlet. And I think they did a solid job here. But the fascination of this one to me is, this is 1967, pre-internet, pre-cell phone, and so it makes sense within the realm of radio if you're trying to operate in the public interest to try and just become one big information outlet.
Racy.
And WTAS effectively became, there's still news and weather reports, but effectively became an audio bulletin board, I guess you could say. There's a lot of people who have lost track of each other trying to reconnect and what's open and what's closed and just what's going on out there. And so, yeah, it's kind of truly hearing things on a community level.
For the combined news facilities of WCGO and WPAS-FM, here is the latest South Suburban, regional, national, and international news. Brought to you in part by the Girardi Funeral Home, 2520 Chicago Road in Chicago Heights.
No, 23 inches of it is on the ground in the South Suburban area this afternoon. That was a grand total. As of 9 this morning, it included another 2.8 inches that fell during the early morning hours. Those who must get to their jobs should leave their cars at home, either walk or attempt to take public transportation. At present, there is no bus transportation in the South Suburban area.
Sister Georgette has told us that presently the hospital is understaffed. Normally during this period of day they would have 35 to 40 doctors. Right now they have about 4 or 5. Chief Leone from the Chicago Heights Fire Department is out in his own vehicle, the fire inspector's vehicle, and another vehicle with a bulldozer in front of it right now. This is the only way that people who are critically ill or critically injured can get to the hospital. This is what he's doing right now.
At Park Forest, roads are not passable. The shopping center is closed. There are no serious injuries reported. Of course, schools are closed in Park Forest. At Dalton, stores, schools, and shops are closed. Fawn Ridge is housing 300 pupils and 12 teachers who have been there since yesterday afternoon. Another 200 persons are being sheltered at the Dalton Bowl, and food is being taken in by Dalton police. Evergreen Park had a fatality from an apparent heart attack when a resident shoveling snow suffered a heart attack. John Ivis, 54 years old, 2932 West 99th Street in Evergreen Park, was dead on arrival at Little Company of Mary Hospital. And now a sports report. First of all, a reminder that almost all sports activities have been canceled in the South Suburban region. The Rookies Homer Frostmore game, originally scheduled for tonight, will be played next Saturday, February 4th. All other sports activities at Crete have been canceled. As you may know by now, the Crete Warrior Dome has collapsed, and so there will be no sports activities at Crete. One of the most preferred new home plans today is called the Raised Ranch, with 2 complete living levels for your family. For the very latest in raised ranches, you'll want to see the Burnside Sherwood model at Glenwood Manor, 183rd and Halstead. For a Friday night dinner that's delicious and reasonable, take the family to Menace Restaurant in Chicago Heights. Order Menace Jumbo Shrimp Dinner. Giant shrimp from the Blue Runners of the Gulf, deep fried to a fluffy golden brown and served with French fried potatoes and garden fresh salad. That's just $1.75. Since we've mentioned water, we should tell you this. For safety's sake, it might be wise to take some empty jars or bottles and put water in them and store them in the refrigerator overnight, in case pipes freeze or water supplies are damaged. Fire departments suggest you fill your bathtubs with water in case a fire breaks out in your home. In Lansing, some 700 travelers are stranded there. They've been taken well care of, though. Some have been housed at one of the churches, the others at the Lands Theater. They're watching movies. Mrs. Franklin Taylor, her husband, has been missing. Still has not received word. Have you heard anything on this yet, Sarah? Still no word yet, okay. Mrs. Franklin Taylor, a teacher, her husband is still missing. Rock Island Railroad, here we are. We received this call earlier. They are looking for men
and boys to help them clear the tracks of ice and snow, the snow banks and drifts tomorrow. The youngsters, the boys, must be 16 years of age or over. Steve Miller in Gary, Indiana, still no word on him. His wife had called. He has been missing, and his whereabouts is not known. He resides at 2519 Georgia in Gary. Let's see. I'll tell you what. Well, if you're set to go with a little more recorded stereo music, I think we'll have that for a few moments, and we'll be back shortly.
The Chicago blizzard of '67 is also noteworthy in that it's home to some of the earliest known surviving video air check footage of this sort of thing. And I use the air quotes there because this is in-house footage. This is from a kinescope. But there were two stations in Chicago that saw fit to save at least some of this stuff. It would be truly noteworthy if it was an amateur off-air recording, with one of those really early open-reel half-inch black and white deals. But I don't think anybody was recording that. So anyway, there is footage from two stations. I'm only going to run footage from one, though. The one I am not going to run is WMAQ, the NBC station in Chicago. There's a few minutes of footage, and it's on YouTube, and I just don't think it's all that interesting. To me, the real interesting stuff comes from the then recently established little indie station, WFLD, Channel 32. Now, of course, WFLD became one of the first Fox affiliates in the 80s, and nowadays they have a much bigger budget and everything's real nice and slick with them, but in 1967, it was a shoestring operation. So what you're going to see here is about as homebrew a newscast as you are going to get away with on TV as of 1967, and you would not get away with this at all today. But the only real set there is the anchor desk, and otherwise they're just swinging the camera around to other people or taking live feed from other places. And of course the weather factors in, so it winds up feeling that much more just thrown together, improvised. So I consider this a real fascinating one. And if anything, I'm doing a bit of a disservice with this montage. So if you like what you see, please go hit up our friends over at Fuzzy Memories here on YouTube or fuzzymemories.tv and watch the whole half hour. Consider this just a little appetizer.
Good evening, welcome to Newscope again. I'm Patrick Muldowney. Well, we're back again after a 1-hour break. We were on the air today for more than 10 hours, bringing you Chicago's information on what was happening in the city and the surrounding area. We used the facilities of the Chicago Daily News and the Chicago Sun-Times, as well as Channel 32's own facilities, and the facility of ham radio station WA9RTP with Jim Roper and Vic Cox at the controls. We'll have a report from them later in Newscope. Tonight on Channel 32, we presented a very unique feature. We did something that has never been done before in broadcasting. We brought to you ham radio reports that have never been broadcast live on a television station before.
Well, it's just about over with. Although it isn't all over completely because the temperatures are still going down. The Weather Bureau tells me that bitterly cold weather is going to hit Chicago by dawn. They say the temperatures are down to about 10 degrees above zero before dawn. In Springfield today, Governor Turner met with some officials from the National Guard, called out all the helicopters and monumental mess. These trains were arriving 2 to 4 hours late today. One of the few ways to get anywhere, I think, among the reports we've had, is the CDA's rapid transit. The trains are running pretty much on time. The buses, of course, are quite another matter. Storm's effect on food stores was almost immediate. Local supermarkets reported their shelves were clear of milk, meat, bread, and cigarettes. Their staff couldn't get to work.
Today we presented the longest weather report ever run on a Chicago television station. And it would Times and Chicago Daily News cameraman. This is how they saw the super snow in Chicago. I don't know where that came from, but if that wasn't Chicago today, well, it's been a long day. We went on the air at 12:30, and it is now 5 minutes to 12. We'd like to say thank you. We couldn't have done it without all of you. Thank you. I'm Patrick Muldowney. Good night.
Well, that's just one slice of pizza. So you know what? I'm gonna get off the computer now and go to my tablet. So see you guys in a bit.